Noticing mind, citta, assists in understanding the practice. Mind is heart, thing that perceives something, thinks, and feels. It is a state of consciousness. It is the natural state that is aware of sense objects or always perceives sense objects. Mind can be named perceiver only. We are able to have feelings because we have mind in the body. We are still alive, so we still have feelings. Therefore, mind is the most important part of life. We can perceive things due to mind perception. Mind can perceive sense objects all the time. Mind is mentality, which cannot be seen by eyes. In order to have knowledge of mind, we have to notice and remember mental states rising during each period, each state, while practicing concentration meditation or insight meditation. We have to remember scrupulously the characteristics of feelings. Importantly, we have to understand natural characteristics of mind in general so that we can know what happens, how it changes. According to the nature of mind, mind arises and falls away quickly and continuously. It is difficult to study and understand easily if no attention is paid. Therefore, we must practice to notice thoroughly feelings rising in mind and remember by heart their characteristics and understand how they change and fall away. It will be beneficial for us and enable us to understand clearly the reality of our mind. It will be very advantageous for our practice to develop mind. In respect of practice to develop mind, there are three kinds of mind, citta, we should notice to know and understand. They are calm mind, pure mind, and enlightened mind. Noticing mind will enable us to understand how to practice mind, how much we make progress in practicing it, whether we make any progress. Calm mind. In order to understand clearly how calm mind is, we need to know and understand the characteristics of original state of mind. Originally, a mind arises and falls away immediately and followed by the next mind. Unbroken series of mind arises and fall away continuously. It is a state of constant flux. It keeps changing all the time. It is difficult to keep it stay still, directed, not to pervade when touched by pleasant feeling. It never stays still like a monkey which is naughty, and never stays still in one place, in one position. These are real original characteristics of mind of people in general. When we can understand and notice them, we will be able to understand calm mind. Calm mind is the mind that is not touched by external sense objects perceived through six sense organs, both desirable and unpleasant, undesirable. Calm mind is the mind that does not pervade and is not defiled. Calm mind stays still with sense objects of meditation while practicing meditation, no makeup of feeling. While sitting with eyes closed, exercising meditation, mind is calm with the subject of meditation. We can know how much mind is calm depending on how much mind is concentrated. We can know by noticing the mental images appearing then. They might be divine images, etc. The mental image that appears while exercising meditation will enable us to know how much mind is concentrated, established, and to which level we make a progress. This will help us understand whether we practice correctly according to the Buddhist means. Calm mind is mind that is concentrated. When mind does not scatter to feelings, it is called one-pointed mind. How much mind is concentrated depends on how much we practice and the strength of mindfulness and wisdom of each one. In order to notice how much mind is calm, we have to notice from the level of concentration meditation in which mind is established. For example, if mind is established in the level of momentary concentration, Kanika samdhi. Mind is concentrated momentarily. If mind is very much concentrated, it can be of higher and higher levels to the level of jhana, absorption, upwards. Mind is momentary concentration. Kanika samadhi is less concentrated than the one in proximate concentration. Upakara samadhi, which is less concentrated than the one in full concentration. Apana samhati. The indicator indicating how much mind is calm is a phenomenon which appears inside while exercising meditation, such as mental image. We have to notice and consider scrupulously mental images to understand them. We then know whether we practice to develop mind in a correct way, whether mind is concentrated, and how much it is concentrated. Mental images appearing in mind are not all the same. We have to know what mental image results from what kind of meditation so that we can differentiate them. As a result, we will know if we practice meditation fruitfully, to which level we make progress. It is concluded that we can notice calm mind while we are practicing concentration meditation and insight meditation with eyes closed. Calm mind will not be distracted to all sense objects. Mind is concentrated on the object of meditation only. Pure mind. In fact, our original mind is pure and beautiful. It is called splendid mind. It is mind without defilements, comprising greed, aversion, and ignorance, as well as the 16 impurities and 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are defilements which fetter mind from becoming concentrated, prevent us from attaining wholesomeness and establishing mind. 5 hindrances make mind always impure and blemished. One way of primary mental purification is concentration meditation, according to the Buddhist means. Concentration will be able to overcome the power of the following 5 hindrances so that they cannot manifest themselves as unwholesomeness through body and speech. Sensual desire. 2. Ill will. 3. Sloth and torpor. 4. Distraction and remorse. 5. Doubt and uncertainty. Or 6 hindrances if mentioned. One more to add to the above 5 is lack of knowledge. All 5 hindrances are defilements which make mind impure. Major defilements that make mind impure are greed, aversion, and ignorance. Apart from the 5 hindrances, there is another cause that can make mind impure and is important to our practice, that is, diet or food that we eat as per our desire for deliciousness, to pander to our wish for the sake of the body. If we eat without mindfulness, it is consuming to feed defilements. If we contemplate carefully our body, we will understand that our body is born due to defilements. We can say in short that body belongs to defilements. It is not ourselves, and it is born due to defilements. When we eat, or eat according to the desire, it equals to eating to nourish defilements to grow up and become healthy. For this reason, we should pay attention to our daily diet, so that it can become habits for our practice for mind development. That is, to eat just to end suffering due to hunger. This is correct according to how to live a life practicing mental development. We have to be aware of the taste of the food before swallowing it into the stomach. In meditation practice, we have to eat only when we are so hungry that we suffer. Paying no more attention to food is thus correct according to the discipline of the practice to develop mind, to be pure and free from internal defilements. Body belongs to defilements which create the body primarily, and the body needs food to survive. Therefore, we can cut off the concern for food consumption. It means that we can eradicate defilements indirectly. One means to purify mind is to cut off the desire for food. As a result, when we eat food, it must not be for the desire. We only eat when we are hungry. We must not eat a lot, and we have to realize the taste of food. By doing so, we will obtain fruitful results easily from the practice for mind development, especially in concentration meditation. We will be able to mentally see mental images clearly, like we see clearly an object that fell to the bottom of a well, but the water in the well is so clear and transparent because there is not much sediment or lichen. It is the same as the mind that is not blemished by defilements and six hindrances. Especially when we can cut off the concern for food, the mind will become pure. To conclude, in order to be able to purify the mind, we must manage to abandon six hindrances by exercising concentration meditation and insight meditation only. Another way is by cutting off the concern for food. We have to control food consumption. We eat only when we are really hungry, and eat only to end suffering resulting from hunger. We do not eat as per the desire. Body does not belong to us. It is only an element. It belongs to defilements. If we know how to control food consumption, the mind will be purer finally. Enlightened mind. Enlightened mind is the mind that is developed to gain wisdom, which enables us to see the truth of life as it is. It is the mind with perfect mindfulness and wisdom to see suffering, that it is the arising and falling away of mind and matter, rupunama, of all lives. When the mind is enlightened to see the truth of lives, we realize that the body is not self, not ourselves. It does not belong to us. It is an element which is all dirty. If the mind is enlightened, we will see the truth easily. The mind will be bored to stay with the body. The mind, full of mindfulness and awareness, will seek how to be able to leave the body finally. The enlightened mind sees suffering in body. Body is like a rubbish bin. It is not pleasant to reside with. If our mind is enlightened, we will meet with a clear path of our life. However, our mind is full of darkness and impurity because it is possessed by ignorance, and so we do not understand the truth of life, which is the ultimate truth. Therefore, we must strive to train the mind to be able to gain mindfulness and awareness. We also must know how to scrape the mind to be pure by exercising concentration and insight meditations in Buddhism. Consequently, the mind will be purified and really enlightened with wisdom. In order to gain primary wisdom, understanding that life is suffering according to the Four Noble Truths is required. We have to ponder with wisdom over the teachings of the Buddha to gain right understanding and right thought accordingly. Birth, old age, illness, and death are real suffering. We will practice to reflect analytically with wisdom the mentioned teachings. The mind will be enlightened with primary wisdom. If we contemplate further until we realize that body is the cause of suffering, the mind will be further enlightened. According to Buddhism, our mind is full of darkness due to lack of knowledge or ignorance. As long as defilements reside in our mind, in order to enlighten the mind primarily, we must contemplate the teachings to cultivate wisdom according to the Four Noble Truths in the section of right understanding, view, samadhi. Enlightened mind is a mind cultivated with wisdom, full of mindfulness and awareness. It is perfectly mature to have insight into the truth of life according to the three characteristics, which are impermanence, suffering, and soullessness. These are suffering. If the mind is trained accordingly, it can become the mind cultivated with wisdom, enlightened mind, not darkened by defilements or due to lack of knowledge. As mentioned before, there are three kinds of mind: calm mind, pure mind, and enlightened mind. In order that the mind becomes enlightened to see the truth of life, qualified and perfect mindfulness and wisdom to know how to practice the mind are required. We need to have knowledge and understanding to cultivate the mind to be pure and calm primarily according to the mental practice means in Buddhism. Pure mind and calm mind will be beneficial to each other. If the mind is calm but not pure, we will not be able to know the truth of life. Impure mind is still blemished, it cannot see the truth. If the mind is neither pure nor calm, it is very difficult to be enlightened to see the truth of life. Moreover, we must know techniques and tips for the practice to scrape the mind to be pure primarily. In addition, we need to know how to establish the mind to become calm and concentrated in high levels as per Buddhist practice. This depends on good study and understanding of the teachings in Buddhism. In conclusion, the first important means is to practice ourselves to reflect intentionally about our life. We need reasoned attention to enlighten the mind to cultivate primary wisdom, which is called right understanding, samadhiti. Firstly, with right understanding, we have to think analytically and understand suffering according to the Four Noble Truths. Succeeding in doing so, the mind will become somewhat enlightened. It is the mind with less ignorance which is a fetter, making the mind blind and misled to lead a life of suffering. This is the first means to make the mind enlightened, to cultivate mindfulness and wisdom fruitfully in Buddhism.